I believe we all deserve a moment to just breathe, a space to slow down and heal. That's why I want to tell you about Angela Cook, LMT, and the Fundamental Sense Massage Studio in Corvallis. Tucked right up against Starker Forest, Angela's studio is a sanctuary where deer and turkey wander in close, and the wildlife feels like friends. This is a place where the earth's quiet power seeps into you, makes every bit of healing feel deeper, more real. Angela is an intuitive guide. She listens with her whole heart, and her hands draw on an ancient wisdom to touch the hidden aches that you've carried for way too long. She weaves together a variety of techniques in her 2 and 3 hour sessions: deep tissue, stretching, joint mobilization, so much more. She creates a space for you to unravel, to play even, and to heal from the inside out. Angela's touch has eased pain that was with me for years. She healed my body in ways I never thought possible. And from her reviews, I see it transforming lives every day. People just like us, finding that same release. If your body hurts and your nervous system wants peace, visit thefundamentalsense.com and book your session today. Find the time. You deserve the release you'll find in Angela's touch.
Welcome to Emotion Art.
Emotion Art, where we sit down and make art with our emotion.
Emotion Art.
Creative energy moving outward in conscious expression of feeling.
Emotion Art.
Emotion Art.
Emotion Art.
Emotion because we are literally made of emotion. Art because everything we do wants to be art. Emotion Art. Feels.
Emotion Art. It's all beautiful. It's emotion art. Emotion art.
A space for emotional art. Creative energy moving outward in conscious expression.
Emotion art.
An emotion art gallery.
This is emotion art.
You're welcome. I'm thankful that you're here, Chris.
I'm honored to be here with you.
I had a fantastic experience with you at the Rasani Fair, the metaphysical fair in Albany. First time I went there, and you were set up in a booth doing your practice. I don't remember a lot of the things you said to me because I booked a session with you. I remember you talked about whales. I'm supposed to be listening to whales, I think. Mm-hmm. There was some blocks that as you talked, your words just helped me look at them. Just look at some things that are inside me because I want to evolve. I want to develop. I want to be free from pain and fear and live a joyful life helping other people. And that experience moved me that direction. But that's all I know about you. So I'm curious.
What would you like to know?
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of an abstract place to start. See what you say.
It's a very abstract place to start.
I mean,
it has many places to look from.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
As I thought about what we were going to talk about today, I was reminded of the Indian parable, the Eastern Indian parable, about the blind men who encountered an elephant. And they were trying to explore it and discover, what is an elephant? And they held different parts of the elephant, and each one of them came up with a different description. And it wasn't until someone else came along later and explained to them that maybe the elephant is all of that and more.
Yeah.
I am aware that any one person's view of what we are or who we are is extremely limited. And as I thought about it, what I heard was, what is the size of a house from the viewpoint of a mouse? Is it possible that our viewpoint is restricted and therefore we cannot see all that there is to see? And we think we know, but we don't really know all of it yet.
To a mouse, a house is enormous. Mm-hmm. And it also is a lot different than a house is to us because It experiences rooms that we would never experience, like in walls and
Yes,
stuff.
yes. Its viewpoint is just as valid as anyone who's outside looking at it from the different point of view. People see it from the outside, people see it from the inside. None of those is more accurate than the other.
Yeah. And that's something that I'm being reminded over and over. Just because somebody sees something that I know for sure to be a way does not mean they see it wrong. It just doesn't. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong either. There's a lot of different perspectives. There's a lot of different ways to look at any one thing.
The Native American people with whom I walk from time to time say that we look at things from different sides of the rock. And depending upon where we're standing in relation to the rock, we will see something different.
Yeah.
And our understanding will be different. That's their version of the parable of the elephant and the blind man.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's your name and what do you do as far as how you walk through this world, your work?
Well, my name is Christopher Hupp, and I have a massage practice, and I have a Reiki practice. And I combine those and work with individuals to help them move through and overcome and remember who they are. So that we remember that our bodies are designed by the original equipment manufacturer of the human form. Some people call God. Some people call Allah. Some people call it the Creator. There are many names.
What do you call it?
I have yet to define it. I still call it the original equipment manufacturer of the human form.
EQMHF.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
That's a lot of letters.
That's a lot.
If you're going to do that. But we have been created, and that we are, in fact, designed to heal. So whenever any part of our form is out of balance or uncomfortable, there's a way to rebalance it. You know, if we cut ourselves and if we don't cut too deep so that we have to go in and have stitches, our form will heal. The skin returns. We might have a scar. You know, for a while we'll have a scab. That's part of the process of the healing, but the body knows how to do that. We don't have to tell it. I don't have to sit there and think, okay, heal hand.
You don't have to spend thousands of hours in meditative practice to get it to heal faster.
Right, right. I don't have to change, go into meditation, change my heart rate, meditate and hum, and all that. I don't have to go to a certain frequency. The cells of the body know the frequency that they operate with, and they return to that frequency and they bring the balance as quickly as possible.
How do you interface with that process?
I hold the energy that they can heal to start with.
The belief?
The belief. And I send the energy. And I send the love and the intention that they will heal. And they'll get better. And some people respond to that and they get better. Others say, nope, what you're doing doesn't even seem to work for me. And I'll go, okay, I hear that.
What's the name of your practice?
Wise Hands Massage.
You're an LMT. That's the same kind of thing Angela's doing. She's starting off in the foundation of massage, but her hands do magic things. It's crazy. And I've laid on your table, and your hands do a very similar type of magic thing where there's just energy moving inside me. And I'm like, what is this? Why is it happening? What is it responding to? And there you are, just following your intuition, reading what you're experiencing. It's healing by intuition.
It is.
Why do you do it?
Why do I do it?
Yeah.
Because it has worked for me.
What was your experience?
In 2013, my lower back got disjointed and one of the vertebrae moved forward. And it was pinching my sciatic nerve to run pain all the way down my legs.
Oh boy.
24/7.
Yeah.
I saw two neurosurgeons, one of whom said, gee, we're going to have to do 3 or 4 levels. And I thought, whoa, that's a lot. We're going to have to fuse your back. I said, I want a second opinion. So I went up and I saw a second neurosurgeon and he said, we can do it with 2 levels. I can do it this way. And I said, okay. Because I think the less we interact with the body, the more chance the body has to do what it needs to do without further damage.
Yeah.
So he recommended I have the surgery, and the insurance company said no. So I thought, okay, so what do I do now? Because that was the most obvious way to resolve the issue. Well, my wife and I were on our way to the Salt Lake City, Utah area for a essential oil convention. And we were staying with a dear friend who happened to be my Sekim Reiki Master. I got to her house. She looked at me and she said, "Man, you're in pain." I said, "Yeah, I'm in pain." "Okay, well, I know a guy who can probably help you with that, but he lives 5 hours from here. He lives in Colorado. It's a 5-hour drive." So we took off because I looked at my wife and she said, "I'll go to the convention. You go get help." Thank you. About 2.5 hours into the trip, she picked up the phone and dialed the guy who I was going to see and said, "Can we come see you?" She works by intuition.
Yeah.
And a fellow's name is Bruce. And Bruce said, "Oh, yeah, come on down." And at 9:30 at night, he met us at the door of the fifth wheel that he set up behind his house for people to stay in when he works with them. He smiled and he shook my hand and he said, "I'll see you at 7:30 in the morning." And his wife brought out breakfast for us because she knew in the little tiny town of Dove Creek, Colorado, there are very few places to get breakfast that early in the morning. So she brought us breakfast and we stayed in the fifth wheel for about a week. He worked on me at 7:30 in the morning, at 11, and at 5 for 5 days running, and my pain went away.
Doing massage, essentially?
He did a particular type of massage that he developed.
Okay, so something similar to what you're doing.
Very similar to what I'm doing.
Of course.
Yeah, his was divinely inspired.
Okay.
Okay. Then he had the opportunity to attend Princeton University and get a physical therapy degree.
Wow.
He was also sent over to Japan and to Hong Kong to learn martial arts and the medicine of the people there.
Okay.
Okay.
An intense guy.
He's an intense guy. He could just as easily kill you as help you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I noted that when he first told me about what he had done. I said, "Okay, so you could either kill me or help me?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Which one are we doing today?"
Yeah. Yeah. First things first.
Right. Let's get an intention set here. And so he
But when
helped
you're
me.
hurting bad enough, it's kind of like
Go ahead.
whatever it takes.
Yeah, and my friend got on the table before me, and she had a full body session, and he worked with her, and I was able to see what he was doing. And I was sitting about as close as I am to you, and I could feel the electrical energy coming off of her. I said, "Am I supposed to feel that?" And he said, "You might." Okay. So on the 5th day when the pain went away, I looked at him and I said, "I don't know if you've noticed this, but you're getting a little older." He was 83 at the time. And he was seeing like 5 people a day at the age of 83. I said, "Have you taught this to anybody?" Secretly hoping he would teach me, of course. He said, "Oh yeah, I've taught this to 10 people. And my friend who took me said, 'Would you teach me? Would you teach me?' And he said, 'No.' I got quiet and I waited a little while. All right, okay. 'Would you be willing to teach me?' And he said, 'I think you'd be good at this, but you'll have to go get your license to be a massage therapist.' Okay. And in the state of Oregon, that's about 625 classroom hours. And then you sit for an exam, and that's how you get licensed. So I came back and immediately went to school. Now I'm working in the daytime at a job. I'm supervising a social work program for a group called Options Counseling, and I appreciate them very much. And in the evening, I'm going to massage school. And when massage school is out, I take time off from work, and I flew to Colorado, and I spent time with him. And he was showing me what he was doing. He was talking me through it. He was teaching me his technique. Well, one time he said, "You have a heart problem." And I said, "I don't have any symptoms of a heart problem." He said, "You have a heart problem. Go see your doctor." And being a guy and being stubborn, I didn't have any symptoms, so I didn't immediately go. The next time I went back, he said, "So have you seen the doctor?" "I don't think you've seen the doctor yet." I said, "No, not really." He said, "I need you to hear me. What you have, you will drop dead from. You will never have a symptom."
Whoa.
So I made my way back to the doctor right away, got in. They did a stress test just before the 4th of July. And I get this call and they said, well, your reading's normal, but suboptimal. And I said, what does suboptimal mean? And they said, well, we don't have very good pictures. Okay. How do we get good pictures? Well, we have to do this nuclear medicine thing where we inject nuclear things within you, and it gives us a contrast that, okay. So I get that done, and the internal medicine specialist said, I'd send you to my doctor, to the cardiologist now.
Wow.
But you have to go see your primary care physician, because that's how the insurance industry has it set up. Okay, insurance industry, thank you so much. So then I go and I get to see the cardiologist finally. He says, I have to do an angiogram. I'm going to prescribe a medicine for you, and I'm going to send this medicine prescription to your pharmacy there in Woodburn. Well, I live in South Salem, half a block away from my pharmacy, not Woodburn. So I knew he wasn't looking at my chart. He said, I need to do an angiogram. And I thought, okay, yes, that is how you make your money. I understand that. And it probably does give us a more clear view of what's going on. So he scheduled it for 2 weeks away on a Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I went in and they got me all prepped for it. And I went up and I had the angiogram. They wheeled me from there directly to the ICU. And the next morning, I had open heart, triple bypass surgery on the left anterior descending artery they call the widowmaker.
Yep.
Because people typically just drop dead.
Oof.
So I went back to Bruce and I said, can you show me the spot? How did you know?
Yeah.
He said, there's this point. It's on the meridians. And I took with me my meridian chart that I had from massage school, and he looked at it and he went, wow. And he started to laugh. And I said, why are you laughing? He said, this is what they teach the Westerners. This is not how it goes. Would you teach me how it goes? Absolutely. So he did. So I know a technique that he developed called Meridian Massage. It's atypical. And I combine that with the Reiki and whatever I hear from the non-physical about how to support somebody to move through whatever it is they need to move through.
Okay, so what kind of things do you hear? Can you describe that process, what you hear from the non-physical? I'm assuming you're talking about what I would maybe think of as intuition? You
could probably think of it as intuition.
What do you call it?
For me, they are spirit beings.
Okay. Guides?
Guides.
I hear that word so often.
Some people call them angels. Some people call them guides.
Okay.
There's different names for them.
Okay.
They will come and they will either whisper something in my ear to say, and before Rasani, they gave me a specific thing to say to everyone who came to see me.
What was it?
It was that in order to move forward spiritually, you had to learn to forgive yourself for all the lessons you had to go through and the mistakes you felt that you had made.
That sounds so familiar.
Okay.
I think I remember you saying that.
Okay. And then you had to learn to forgive and let go of the energy that you carry about the things that other people have done to you. You have to let that go in order to move forward in your own spiritual progression. If you hold on to that, and to the extent you hold on to it, it slows your progress.
Yes. Boy, am I ever learning that over and over.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So what they were asking me to say was something I needed to learn.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
The other way it demonstrates itself is that they will show me, if I'm putting my hands on somebody and I'm working with them, they will show me where to put my hands next. There'll be an actual picture that comes into my mind about, okay, on this person, do it here. I had, for instance, one woman who came and she said, okay, it's my neck, it's my shoulder. Okay. And I began to work with that. And I saw in my mind then putting my hands over her throat. Okay. Which then I asked her, can I do that? And I did it. And then I felt a charge of energy there. And I said, tell me about your thyroid. And she said, oh, I forgot to put in my health history. I have a thyroid condition. Yes, you do.
And you could just feel it.
Yeah.
Just like a pressure differential. Like how do you experience that? Like, how do you know Does your hand stop? Do you feel electric shock?
The technique called Meridian Massage involves an electroanalgesic device, which emits a very fine and very low amount of electrical charge. And when you go across a place where there's an issue, it will actually sting in your hands.
So whether you're experiencing it with your own intuition / extra physical senses, or the machine is reading it, it still is, you're experiencing some sort of an electric type field.
Yes. There's a buzz.
Yeah, okay.
And how Bruce knew that I had the heart condition is he went across the top of my foot on the heart meridian, and at a certain point, when it buzzed for him,
oh, so interesting.
it said, okay, there's something there.
Yeah.
And he knew how to interpret that.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part, is learning how to interpret the sensations that you have when you're working with somebody.
Do guides help with that?
Guides help with that.
Okay, how long have you been hearing or seeing or interacting with what you refer to as guides? When did that start for you?
Well, I think all of us have guides,
Okay.
first of all, and I believe I've been doing it most of my life. I can't define the first time it happened, but I know that I'm alive for a reason, and that I've had some pretty intense moments in my life when I would not be.
Yeah.
Okay? And
So it's not like you see another person.
no,
Okay.
I don't have the visual sense.
Okay. But you hear.
I have an auditory. Yeah.
Okay. Does it sound like your voice? When you hear a voice saying something
No.
and you hear it like as if you're hearing it with your physical ears?
Sometimes it's like I'm hearing it with my physical ears. Sometimes it'll just manifest as a thought in my head.
Okay. And do you ask it questions or what?
Sometimes.
And does it answer?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do any of them have names?
All they do.
Ah, interesting. Would you be willing to share any of them?
I think I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I think they're very sacred to me, and they have a right to their privacy as well. So I'm going to honor that.
You're not the first person to have that response.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you feel like you've been experiencing it since you were a kid, but consciously experiencing it. Like when you knew.
Being totally aware that I knew it probably for about the last 15 years.
Okay. And was there something that shifted that for you, where you went from a reactive walking through life to a conscious?
There was something that shifted it. A friend of mine said, would you support me on a vision quest, a Native American vision quest? And I said, sure. And then I said, what does that mean? What do I have to do? And I went with him, and I was taught what to do, and I did it. And there was a native elder who was holding the safe space for the ceremony, which is traditional. And we chatted and we talked, and you were coming. She would talk about what she heard from my spirit guides, and then I had to figure out, okay, is that real?
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
Yeah.
On one particular time, the second time I went to support him, we went to a different location, and there was this creek with this lovely waterfall. And the elder called me aside and said, I'm going to town. Would you like to ride with me for a minute? We're going to go get some supplies. On the way there, she said, I saw a young woman standing by the waterfall in spirit who asked me if this is where you were coming home. And I said, coming home. That has many meanings. Home, like, am I going to the other side? Am I going home? Or what kind of, back to the nature-based way of being. Okay. So I thought about that. And that night, as I started to go to sleep, I asked if I could see the face of this being that was standing by the waterfall. And an absolutely gorgeous brunette young woman face showed up. I said, may I know your name? She said, yes, but you will not be able to pronounce it. She wrote her name in fire. And then she said, you may call me Ewa. And then I saw Avatar and went, oh, Ewa.
Yeah,
okay.
No kidding.
Oops.
Oh, but I don't think movies are accidents. I think that
No,
storytellers get their inspiration from the same cosmos that...
The divine. I call it the divine.
Yes.
It comes from the divine.
Yes, it's all coming from the same place. Something that sees from a much bigger perspective than we do.
Right. And allows us to see from our limited perspective, one more piece of the puzzle, so that we can begin to understand how to support each other in sharing our parts of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Because the only way those men from India, the blind men, knew what the elephant actually looked like was when they put all of their perspectives together. Even though one saw it was a rope, and the other one saw it as a tree trunk, and the other one saw it as a spear, because he was holding the tusk. You know, all those ways of looking at it are valid, and yet not totally accurate.
Yeah.
So I believe we all put our pieces of the puzzle together, and when we do that in a respectful and honoring way with each other, we have the opportunity then to figure out the bigger picture to the extent that the mouse in the house can do that.
And every perspective that's looking at one individual piece of it can be 100% accurate about that specific piece. But if the perspective is the whole, then that description can never even come close.
Right. It can just be, it's just a part of it.
It's just a part of it. And how appropriate that a analogy of the importance of growing up, living in a village comes from India.
Yes, indeed.
Boy, there's, yeah.
If you want to hear something really esoteric,
okay.
I had genetic study done by CRI Genetics, and a little tiny portion of my DNA resembles that of 3 different locations in India. I also have some from Japan and China and Vietnam and France and Germany and England and Ireland and Sweden and Peru and Colombia and Mexico and Puerto Rico. Okay.
Well, as the borders break and humans wash over each other more and more, all the oceans are just going to start to meld together.
Right.
I think it's kind of cool.
It's a way to understand that we are all part of the creation.
Yeah.
And that none of us is different or better in any particular way. And some of us are holding on to the tail, and some of us are holding on to the trunk. And, you know, even within the structures of different religious belief systems, we're all holding on to a piece of it. Can we put it together? Will we put it together? Will we learn that we are one being? We could all be one life form. We just don't know it.
That makes sense to me. And it's that us versus them, that perspective of it is so important to me, this perspective of a tail, that I need to fight the people who have a perspective of a leg. Makes this us versus them, which is where human suffering comes from.
It's certainly part of it.
Certainly part of it, at least. I like to oversimplify, but...
Well, yeah, that's it. That is a simplification, but it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. The us versus them is part of the contention and part of what puts things out of balance.
Okay, so you were, if we can go back to the narrative a little bit, you were doing massage already, but then 15 years ago is when you did supported this vision quest. And that's when things shifted for you in your level of awareness of, let's say, the spiritual world, or?
Yes.
Okay. And so before that, you were still practicing massage and stuff?
Before that, I was practicing Reiki for the most part.
How was that experience different then? I mean, how do you practice Reiki in an unconscious state? I don't know. I'm curious about that. I think
the difference between conscious and unconscious is relative.
Okay, that's true. Okay?
So rather than trying to make that distinction, every one of us has a level of consciousness about each one of the perceptions that we have.
Yes.
And we can either be open to more or less. And we can categorize, because that helps us understand. That's what we do as humans. We put things in this box. He was conscious. No, he was unconscious. Yeah. Oh, no. I had help.
And compared to what?
Compared to what? You know, like, okay, yes, no, I had help. I had help when I got my Reiki Seikim attunement.
Okay.
Seikim is a different form. Okay. Usui is the Japanese form.
Okay.
Seikim is one we understand to sort of be Egyptian. Okay. And the difference between them are the symbols. And the symbols for Seikim are more masculine and linear. And the Usui are more fluid and more feminine.
Interesting.
Okay. That's my experience. And I've been trained about 6 different forms of Reiki.
Okay. Okay.
So I've been able to compare them, contrast them, and do all the stuff we do as humans as we look at life. When I was at the level of mastership for Sikkim, I was invited to go to Salt Lake, and that's where my master lived. And they took me out on a hillside overlooking Lake Utah. And I was asked to go sit and meditate. So I did. They were preparing what they needed to prepare to do the attunement. And the attunement is basically when they put the energy symbols into the field of the person, generally in the chakra centers. So I'm waiting for the attunement, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking out, and suddenly, in spirit form, I see these beings who are healers from different parts of the world. There's some Japanese in their outfits. There's some Africans with bones in their nose and rings in their neck, and there's beings from every culture of which I am aware.
You could see them.
I could see them.
Okay.
Now I'm seeing them through my third eye. It was not my physical eyes.
Okay.
Okay.
But you still so in your mind, on your mind screen, there was an image
on
of
my
them.
mind screen, there was an image of
Okay.
all these guys who just showed up, and I went, "Whoa, okay. Well, thanks for coming." You know, and I'll get real esoteric with you. They parted, and this guy walked through the center of them, and I see the fellow I know is Yeshua, that people call Jesus,
Oh my goodness.
and he comes walking up to me,
Yeah.
and I start to kneel because in the way I was taught, we worship him. He took me by the shoulders, he picked me up, and he said, "Do not kneel, do not worship me. We are equals, we are brothers." And he gave me a hug. And at that moment, somebody took a picture, and in my office, I have a picture of that moment. And there's this white light that is surrounding me. Okay. So when people say we need to worship Jesus, I wonder if that's not a mankind creation. What they're talking about is an entirely different teaching. And, you know, I don't say that very often to people who are Christian because they think, God, we got to worship Jesus. And here's all the things. And Jesus is God. And, okay. Okay. But have you met him?
Would you say that you're a Christian?
I would say that I believe in Christ's teachings. I believe that he taught love.
I mean, you've obviously believed that you've met Jesus.
Yes.
But would you classify yourself as a Christian?
Not a classical Christian.
Not a classical. But if someone said, "Are you a Christian?" would you say, what would your organic response
I would
be?
say that I believe in Christ's teachings
Okay.
and that I follow Christ's teachings, and I try to follow them because I believe he is one of the master teachers
Yes.
who came to this planet to
Okay.
share with us concepts, excuse me, that we could understand in a way that we could understand it. And that it's been perverted over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the other ones, are you referring to like Buddha and...
There are other teachers, and Buddha was one of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so interesting. What name did he tell you? Just knew who he was, or did
I
he
knew
tell
who
you
he
a name?
was.
Okay. He didn't say a name?
I knew him. He didn't come up and say a name.
Okay. And so why was he coming? What did he come for?
Good question. I have not got the answer to that. Other than it seemed that those who were coming were saying, "We're in support of you, and you are our brother. We will work together to help heal." And this planet needs healing. There's a lot of divisions that we've created as human forms.
Yes.
And a lot of misunderstandings that we have. And Mother Earth could use some support in stopping doing the things that are harmful to the earth, and stopping doing the things that are harmful to others, and stopping doing the things that are harmful to ourselves. So one of my tasks here is to help heal the wounds and to hold the space of the healing so that we can all remember who we are, and that sense of love that pervades, because love is the primordial soup within which we operate.
That feels true. So and right now you're talking about your practice?
And everything
you do.
Everything I do is intended to be that way on a good day.
Okay, so why is that how you walk through the world?
Because I feel the love in my heart. And I know here, the natives say the longest distance is from here to here because most of us think we know what's going on. And we have to learn how to love and to actually go through the steps to get the feeling in our heart, to have the knowing, the true knowing, not the mental stuff, the emotional stuff, because you can feel it in your heart when it's right. And I feel in my heart that that is a way that I can be supportive to my brothers and sisters, that I can help the earth, that I can help all of life, the trees, the flying ones, the swimming ones, the creepy crawlies, the stone people. Yeah.
I'm starting to see them that way
the
too.
Four legs.
Yep.
Every one of us is part of this life form
Yep.
that is divine. And we all experience this energy of love from different places. Sometimes we have to go out and find out what love is not so we can figure out what love is. I believe that we're going through that experience as a country right now.
Yeah.
It is part of the healing process. And so I don't get discouraged by it. And I don't get sidetracked into thinking, oh, look, we've got a thorn. Let's focus on this thorn. It's not helpful. I focus on the bigger picture and go to, okay, what we're discovering is that that's not what we want. So now let's work on what we do want and focus on that rather than spending our time on what we don't want and giving it energy. Because our consciousness creates our existence.
It does. And in one perspective of looking at it, like that zoomed out perspective, we are pieces of the earth. And so if you look at it as one organism,
yes,
the earth is trying to figure out how it wants to walk consciously from its observation center. That's kind of what we are. We're the observation apparatus for the earth.
That's true. We're the sensory beings.
We are.
We're here.
I mean, there's lots of other ones, but we're the ones we're the puzzle solvers.
Internally within us, we have these little microbes that digest the food that we eat.
Yep.
Take its nutrients and do it. We seem to be, at some level, if you think of it as an analogy, the energy sensors and processors for the divine life form.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're like these little microbes. And we think we're so important, and we are.
And we are.
Because everything is important.
Yes. Because without our stomach bacteria,
right,
we wouldn't be able to stay alive.
Oh, we have trouble with digesting food and taking the nutrition. We won't stay alive.
Nope.
We'll die.
Yep.
And that would be true for the life form, the total life form that goes well beyond even this earth.
Yeah. Yeah. The total life form.
The total life form.
That's scary to think about.
Yeah.
How many levels up is that? The part of a part of a part of a part.
Exactly.
I've been reading the My Big Toe book trilogy by, who was his name? Thomas Campbell. Oh, it's an astrophysicist that like basically logically defines what we're talking about. That big level organism, consciousness organism. It's so interesting.
Yeah. This is much bigger than we know.
Yes. Yes. That's the consensus.
Some people say that actually this planet was seeded.
Yeah. By aliens?
By aliens from other planets.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Well, I know a Cherokee fellow. I know of him more than I know him. He wrote a book about his teachings and in his belief system, the Cherokee people were actually brought here from the stars.
And why not? I mean,
yeah,
that's just one little fringe thing. Like it could have happened or it could not have happened, and all the other theories still could or could not be true.
And that could just be they were holding on to that part of the elephant.
Yeah.
This is how we understand it.
Oh, but that's a very interesting part of an elephant.
how in the world, because we keep saying they came across the Bering Strait. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. That's just how we understood it at that time.
Yeah. But on the other hand, in all of the hand-down stories, because they were all verbal at one point.
Yes.
Using the stars to navigate could be translated as coming from the stars. You just don't know.
It's true.
Yeah. It's so
true.
interesting.
If you want to get really esoteric, my father's haplogroup. Do you know what a haplogroup is?
That sounds so familiar, but why?
When you go back to a particular being who all the people on the line carry this genetic trait, if you will.
Okay. Common descendant.
Common descendant. You go way back to that first person. And the haplogroup on my father's side is a fellow named Nikola Tesla.
Oh, boy.
He's also there with Elvis Presley and Chuck Norris and Stephen King and the guy who started the Time Life magazines. Okay. All those people are in my father's haplogroup. So therefore, they're in my haplogroup. They're part of who I am. Their knowledge and their genetic material was passed down through all the generations to me. And I'm grateful for it. I don't understand the mechanism. I don't pretend to understand the mechanism.
And how does it benefit your life, the knowledge?
It's encouraging, actually. It gives me a positive outlook towards what I think I understand of my part of the elephant.
It helps you have a more positive outlook.
Yeah, it helps me see it as that's a possibility. It's possible that I understand things this way now because I have this genetic material that flowed through Nikola Tesla at one point, or that is part of what flowed through Nikola Tesla, and therefore I have a different understanding of how to work with electricity and how to encourage people. Now, how I got there through Bruce is an amazing pattern. I'll call it that, not a coincidence, because there are no coincidences.
Yeah.
Unless you think of things being an incident and then they're happening simultaneously, and therefore they are coincident.
Yeah. They're incidenting at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. You talked about the saying that the space from your head to your heart is the longest distance, and emphasizing the importance of not being stuck up. What I heard is not being stuck up in your head with all your thinking and your planning, but learning to move your consciousness down, move your awareness down to your heart center. Does that feel accurate to what you were saying?
That's at least part of it.
Okay.
And ultimately, it is that you get these two in working together.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So what is the process? Because that is difficult. That is something, the longest distance indeed. How do you do it? How did you make that shift from your head to your heart?
How
or to
I
balance
made it was I went on a vision quest and I asked for help with it.
That's how you did it, is you asked for help.
Yep. Asked for help.
Wow.
And that'll work for anybody, whether or not you do a native vision quest. You can ask for help. And the beings that are non-physical, who some of them are your ancestors, you know, some of them are beings who see it from a much broader perspective, much, much broader perspective. And some of them have lived here, some of them have not.
And even if you can't consciously interact with them, they are still aware of you asking for help, or?
Well, when you ask for help, you are at that moment opening the door for the conscious interaction. Until then, they're helping you without you knowing it.
So then why ask? Okay, this is actually a question that I want to ask. Like, I hear this so often, especially now. I'm hearing it more and more and more. Guides, ask for help. Various variations of that. When I go to ask for help, it feels pretentious to me, because if this is somebody that sees from a level, from above my level, that means they can see everything I see.
They are much like us. They see it from a different place. Okay, so you can't assume that it's a higher level. It's just a different place they see it from.
It's not that it's more complete?
It's not always that it's more complete.
Just different.
It's just a different place. And they can hope you see a different perspective on things that you haven't been able to see.
Yeah.
And they do.
And so, but why verbalize it? Can we not communicate? Like, do they not know what we're thinking?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
I can't pretend to know what they know. But I can say that the more we can consciously participate in the conversation with them and encourage them to help us figure out what's going on, the more they are able to then step in and say, okay, based on how you asked the question or how you ask for support, there's a different response.
Interesting. So it's more like you're exposing your readiness for help, or
yes, your readiness for help, your desire for it, because they don't want to intervene to the extent that they take over your consciousness and do for you what you need to do yourself. They want to help, but they don't necessarily want to step in and take over. So verbalizing the desire for the information helps them, A, know where you are in the process, and B, figure out how to best communicate with you.
Oh, so interesting. These are the things that I get hung up on a lot.
And they do it differently. The other way the non-physical communicates with me was with music. My father, who passed away many years ago when I was 19, and I'm 73 now, so I'm a little older. He will come and I will hear barbershop quartet music. He will sing a song, and it'll be a barbershop quartet song. Now, he used to be part of a barbershop quartet group. So there he is. He's singing to me. Okay, Dad, what is it? Are you trying to communicate? How can we work together here? I've got a brother who's a Mormon. He's on the other side now. Hangs around the Salt Lake Temple.
Oh, wow.
He comes and he sings Mormon hymns to me. He doesn't come very often now because his belief system doesn't include the things that my belief system does. So he's got a hold of the tree trunk.
From the other side.
The leg of the elephant. Yeah, he still has it from the other side. He still believes I should be converted to Mormonism. I should do what he did. Okay, I understand that. I understand that's what you believe, but that's not my belief system right now, so no thank you.
But that makes the other side feel so much less mysterious.
They're a lot less mysterious than we think they are.
It's just a continuation. Is it just like life just kind of you just keep learning and growing and nobody knows?
Nobody knows. We experience what we experience, and we're holding on to part of the elephant.
It probably depends on what you believe, too.
What you're willing to open yourself to believe.
Yeah.
Because, some people are just not open to believing anything other than what they have been taught. And we get taught very early how to structure our thinking about things.
Yes.
We
do.
By our loving parents who are trying to support us to do what they think is safe and right and real. And the way we structure things beyond that depends on whether or not we're willing to move out of the box, step away from our perspective, and open ourselves to new opportunity.
Oh, but that's so scary because you're leaving behind the bunker, the comfort of the safety.
You're out of the box.
Oh, no.
You're right.
Just the blue sky. What if I float off into the atmosphere?
Right.
What if I become unreal?
When I was helping my friend, whose name is David, on his vision quest, I sat by what they call the sacred fire. And there's a fire that's always lit when someone's going out to have their vision quest. And they go out for 4 days and 4 nights with no water, no food.
Wow.
Okay.
No wonder they're having visions.
You would think.
That's extreme.
Yeah, you kind of have to go to the point of almost death.
Yes.
To find your connection to everything in spiritual sense. I was sitting at the sacred fire, and I was looking at the fire, and I was seeing the heads of animals in the fire. And I was sitting there with the elder who was holding the sacred space, and I said, "So I'm seeing animals in the fire." And the elder said, "Oh, what animals do you see?" And I began to talk about the animals I saw. Oh. And for her, that was information. Like, okay, he's able to see more than just what's physically happening here. Because there was something happening at the spiritual level there.
Right.
And then the elder told me later that she had had a conversation with the spirit world about me, and that they had basically said, he's exploring. You're going to need to help him. He's going to do this and this and this. And she said, well, if he's going to do that, because he's this white guy sitting here in front of me, I'm going to have to see that happen before I can help. Like, okay. And so, yes, eventually I was told, yeah, you did what they said you would do. I said, okay. And you're doing what they said you would do. I said, okay, that's good. we're working on it.
And now I want to ask you why again. Like why these conversations? Why all of this? Like are you fulfilling the mission? Is
I
there
don't
one?
really know how to categorize that. I believe there is a goal that I may have set prior to coming to this life.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. And the elder told me that the CRI genetics test that said that I had DNA that was similar to people from different parts of the world was because I had lived in each of those cultures.
Okay.
And that I've been on the planet for 50,000 years.
Okay.
Okay. How weird is that? Okay.
I mean, I've heard a lot of people say things like that.
Yeah. And so what I'm doing this lifetime is putting together all the skills that I've learned from all the past lifetimes with the intent of helping as many people as I can help, and as intent of helping the earth itself to heal. To heal all the wounds, all the separations, all the things between the races, all the things between the genders, all the things between the tribes, all the things between the belief systems are all intended to be healed so that we can remember that we are all one family, both in heaven and in earth, if you remember that from the book.
Which book?
Sometimes called the Holy Bible.
Oh.
I can't cite this specific scripture anymore. I've read that thing from beginning to end on at least 3 different occasions.
I spent a lot of time reading as a kid, and now my perspective is starting to change so drastically that I'm realizing that I'm about ready to read it again just to see how it reads from a completely different perspective. I'm kind of excited about that.
What I think I've discovered is that when I was reading it as a young man, I was actually hearing that there's not as much literalness to this as it seems.
Yeah.
And that it's the core teaching is not in the details.
It's in the connection with the spirit that
it's in the connection with the spirit.
Yeah.
And it's in connection with Yeshua, and it's in connection with the divine.
Yeah.
It's not in the, and they did this and they did that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. The details, those kind of details are not important comparatively. It's finding that connection to the divine so you can hear what the message is, because the message is under it. It's below the conscious level.
I don't think that would have made any sense to me at just about any other point in my life, but that feels true. It's like it makes sense of all of it, and it makes sense that there is power in it. It makes sense that it's been so corrupted and misused to control people.
Yes.
Not intentionally, but because that's how humans work.
Well, maybe intentionally in some cases.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone ever goes out to, like, they fall into it. They begin a process and then they start to believe. I mean, no one is a villain in their own story.
I'd like to believe that what we're doing is all working to the best of our ability to do what we think needs to be done.
Sometimes in a horrifically misguided way.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. We all have done that, and that's why we need to learn to forgive that and realize that, I was learning a lesson. It's not that I am bad.
Yeah.
We have to shift from shame-based, which is the whole concept around we were born in sin, to a place where we can actually show up as divine beings, learning our lessons, figuring out how we relate to each other in the healthiest possible way so that we can continue to maintain the love no matter what we're experiencing.
Letting go of all the stories that pit one person against the other person.
Learning to love.
Yeah.
Really love.
And forgive and patience and all the stuff that surrounds love.
And compassion.
Yeah.
And understanding. Because with compassion and understanding, you can see almost everyone's perspective.
Yeah.
And you can allow them to have that perspective and yet show up loving them and encouraging them to move forward to the extent that they're willing to be encouraged.
And I know that you are changing the lives of the people you interact with. Like, that's what you go out into the world to do. You know that your vibrations influence the vibrations you come in contact with. But are you changing the world?
I think everyone changes the world. I think our vibration and our love and the extent to which we can love or not love has an impact on the experience of everyone else here and everything else here. So it's our vibration, it's our love. So some of the times I spend time just sitting and meditating about moving to love and then sending it out and sending it in and allowing it to flow.
Mm-hmm.
And in those moments, I can feel at perfect peace and at oneness with everything and everyone.
And is that because you're in the nugget of the reason you came here? Why? Or do you think that that's just, you're just becoming one with, I don't know.
I'm just choosing to share love.
Yeah.
And since from my perspective, love is what all this is all about, I just move into consciousness with the whole.
Yeah.
And in that moment, we're all love. We're love experiencing different things that cause us to learn different lessons so we can remember that we are love. We have forgotten.
And it's that simple. We are love.
I don't know if I'd say it's simple. I think that's from what I can see from my part of the elephant. Holding on to whatever part I'm holding on to. The part I choose to hold on to is love. The way I choose to describe it, the way I choose to feel it, the way I choose to experience it is from love.
What do you think of AI, of all of the modern breakneck speed at which we're climbing the curve into technology that defies anything we can imagine? How do you feel about that?
My sense of all those things electronic that we play with, including the things we're playing with today.
Yes.
Okay.
For which I am very thankful.
Thank you all. Is that those things are a physical representation of the skill set that we have that we are unaware of. We have always been internet connected to all of life. And we have always had access to all the information that we need to do what we need. We have just forgotten that. So we think we have to Google it. And Googling is basically just asking what information is out there about this.
So we are approximating something that we feel missing because it actually is part of us. But we've kind of, blocked off the ability to sense it, to see it?
Right. Much like we block off the experience of past lives. We have this awareness, and it comes to us from interplanetary beings. You know, these devices, these things that we've got, the iPad and all that, those are things that have come to us from beings that were beyond our planet.
Do the people that there has to be a method of transmission. Are there people that know that, or is it all just kind of like?
Oh, there are people that know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a big conspiracy out there.
Well, there's lots of conspiracies.
Well, whenever I turn on the news, I feel like I'm watching the Hunger Games, so I can kind of believe it.
We're kind of watching the evolution of our consciousness.
Oh, that feels so true.
And so, as we experience things and as we learn and as we grow, we tend to try to involve more people, and we tend to try to help as many as we can. Okay? And those places where people have decided not to help everybody else, but just to help themselves, are really about those ones who have yet to come to the consciousness of the love that vibrates through all of us and the power of using all of the energy from all of love in its different forms in support of each other. And how much more powerful and influential they would be if they would allow themselves to love and to be part of the whole. You can gild things with gold all you like. Okay? When you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah.
You go back to the earth. You start again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you put gold on.
Yeah.
Or how many times you thought, how many billions you have, or whatever. We are all going through a process. We're all learning. We're all growing. We're all evolving. We're all learning to love.
And it's not a process that is limited to this physical existence. This is just one little part.
We're just one part of it.
It's terrifying and encouraging at the same time.
Terrifying because
Terrifying because not only do I not control this little piece that I can sense, but there's a vast hugeness beyond it that not only do I not control, but I can't even sense. It makes me feel more like a speck in a tsunami wave.
Okay. And what is the wave made of?
The wave is made of me. I'm part of it. I'm one speck of it.
Right.
But it's made of everything that exists. Everything that exists.
Yes. And if it exists.
And everything that has ever existed, because each event causes the next event. That weight of infinity, at least to my perception, of interactions and probabilities and all of that. And then here's me, thinking I can control any aspect of thinking I'm in control, thinking that I'm the one that has to figure everything out.
Right.
Encouraging and terrifying.
And it gets to be terrifying to the extent that you decide that it is.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Fear is a story. Just like, we're storytellers. That's who we are.
We are. A native elder gave me a T-shirt that says Wind Talker.
Yeah.
I thought, okay. I know the Wind Talkers were the Navajo guys. Mm-hmm. Did the code talking in World War II. I'm not that. So I took it back to him and I said, so am I, like you're saying I'm full of hot air and I'm windy? He said, things have more than one meaning. I said, okay.
Like, he's on to me.
Thanks so much. And then later another elder said, so what you do is you hear the spirit world whispering and then you share what they whisper. You're a wind talker.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's not, so you don't consider yourself a medium?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a large either. I'm probably pretty small in the big scope.
Oh, I set that up. That was good. Have you heard the telepathy tapes?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. Talk about a whole different world of this. These are people that they're interviewing that actually do connect to the World Wide Web, that you don't need a computer terminal to be part of.
Right. There are frequencies.
Crazy.
The thoughts have a vibration.
Yes.
And
I'm becoming aware of that.
As you become more aware of it, what you'll sense is that we actually do have a receiver system.
We do.
Okay. Back in the earlier years in my life, we used to put together little radio receivers with crystals. Mm-hmm. Okay. You could theorize that the pineal gland is actually a crystal and therefore is a receiver gland. And as you tune it, you can go to the right frequency so you can hear the vibration.
Where's the knob? I want to learn how to tune this thing.
Okay, he's asked the question. Will you help him with it, please?
But the truth is, when I moved to this property out of town, it got quiet out here. And I started to be able to hear tones, like just hear things that are not physically whatever. And I think one of them is my pineal gland. Mm-hmm. Because every time I follow it, it just sits my consciousness right in the middle of my head. Mm-hmm. And I can feel it. I can feel that pressure, that energy pressure of a thing that has like white hot light.
Right.
I don't know, dude, because I'm still, even though I believe firmly in all this stuff because I've seen too much, I'm still agnostic. I still, I don't know. It's
still exploring.
A confusing freaking life.
You're still exploring.
Yes, but I know what I've stumbled upon, and I also don't.
I'm grateful that you're still exploring and that you're willing to ask the questions and look for support and figure out a way to help yourself help others.
I'm grateful that there's such a fantastic playground to explore.
And a lot of play for friends.
Oh, and it's full of friends.
Yes.
I did not know that before recently.
Right.
Yes.
We tend to think when we're growing up that this small group of people right around us are our friends. Yeah. And we isolate and try to
blood family.
And we try to figure out how to relate to them and, how to make them happy. And
put yourself in a box. Put yourself in a box.
Yeah. Go ahead. Be in this box for me. Be in that box for me. And the more I have become conscious, the more I understand. The more parts of the elephant I can see, the more I realize that we're all really here as part of this living being. And we're all really learning and growing and trying to figure out who we are in relationship to everything else. So my focus right now is on looking at how I choose to relate to different things and different people. Things I think of as things, like trees. In a really weird story, the 4th year of my vision quest, I sat beneath 2 pine trees, one of which was broken off because it had been hit by lightning. I was told when I was going up there that I was going to sit by the old man of the north. And so I went and I sat. And I spent the 4 days there. And on the 3rd night, I sat between the 2 trees. There was this little saddle there. And I could look out and see the moon as it was coming down and going up and that sort of thing. And as I watched it, I said, "Thank you for letting me be here." And I heard the tree say, "Thank you for listening. Many people come here. Few people listen." Then he began to tell me about the ecology of the tree and how the tree will hold a space and it'll help to nurture and protect the younger ones as they're growing. And then when they're old enough and they're mature enough, the tree will give its life to nurture the plants so they can continue to grow. Mm-hmm. He said, people are like this too. And by the way, did you know the plants have a voice? And I heard, hi, hi, hi.
Wow.
Okay, I think I've been up here a little long, but I heard their voice.
Yeah.
And then my wife and I took a trip to Ireland after that. And in one of the places called Fort Tullahoge, I believe, we were taken by a Siobhan. Do you know what a Siobhan is?
I do not.
Siobhan are the keepers of the spiritual traditions of Ireland since before the coming of the Celts. So the indigenous belief systems there. She took us to these sacred places, and one of them was, she called it Fort O'Neill because it's where the O'Neills named their next successor in leadership. And the O'Neills were the last people to fall to the Celts. And it was shaped as 3 circles of earth, the center of which had a bowl in it. And there was a tree on the far end, and she said, why don't you explore the area and we're going to meditate, and then we'll come back together and talk about what you saw in the meditation. I went, okay, that's cool. So we walked around, and I walked up to this tree, was at the back of the center thing. And as I walked up to it, I saw moss on it, and I thought, okay, that could be a comfortable place for me to, And I literally heard the tree say, if you sit down here and lean against me, you can be comfortable. Okay, I thought, I'm hearing things again, And I sat down and I leaned against the tree. And then I heard the tree say, hello, old friend. Okay. And so then we did a meditation, and what I saw when I closed my eyes and I meditated were the little leprechauns and fairies that were dancing in the bowl in front of us. And as I opened my eyes, I looked down, and there was the staff, a little tiny staff that a leprechaun would carry.
Wow.
And I said, so, you just wanted me to see this, or is this for me to take home? And they said, this is for you to take home. So I took it and I put it in my little medicine bag and I brought it back. We went to another place, which was a stone wall was there, and it had been there since the Ice Age. And she had us sit down and meditate there. And I did that. And when it was over, she said, tell me about the cougar. I said, cougar? Yeah, there was a cougar up on the hillside over there just watching the whole time. My native elder had morphed into a cougar to watch over me to make sure I wasn't being misled, misguided, or so that I would be safe during the experience.
Wow.
I said, okay, I hear that. There's more to life than what we know.
That may be the only thing that I know for sure.
Yeah. And that's my certainty as well, with absolute certainty.
Everything else, I think I know some things, and I feel pretty confident about some things, and I know I don't know other things, and all of it could change tomorrow. But I know that there's way more than I can imagine that's going on.
Right.
But what? And why am I so curious about it?
And why am I having these experiences? I said to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to learn that you had indigenous lifetimes in Ireland. So I've been indigenous in many places. I was Sami up in the Scandinavian territory, and
And you've gotten to re-experience those in this. In this
and they're bringing
iteration.
those things back together. My wife and I took a trip to Peru. Okay. I wanted to go to Machu Picchu really bad. And she said, well, okay, we've got this money. We sold a house. We had some money. Let's go to Peru. So we went to Machu Picchu. And on the way there, I said, I'd like to meet the elders of Machu Picchu. The closer we got, the more sick I got. Got a temperature. I was going in and out of consciousness and awareness. And at one point, I heard, you do realize that the elders of Machu Picchu are dead. And to meet them, you're going to have to die. I said, I'd like to revise my request, please. So I'd like to connect with them. And when I connect with them, can we have a condor fly over? And then I started feeling better. And I got better. The next day, we were able to go there. And as I was walking back down from the top of the mountain, I'd been up there, and I took a little cedar flute that I like to play, and I played it up there, and I meditated and prayed, and I started back down. And I started down the steps, and they're pretty steep steps. And as I'm standing there, one Peruvian gentleman in front of me says, condor. And I looked up, and there was a condor. And I was being a tourist, and I had my camera. So I took a picture of the condor. And as I'm taking the picture and I'm getting all excited, my daughter's holding the back of my pants, my belt, so I don't fall down the steep steps. And I said, thank you. I came back, and the native elder said, so you brought back some of that energy with you. I said, oh, yeah. There's a particular bird that you would work with. You could work with this bird because of what you did down there. And you can help people using this feather. Okay. Thank you. So I brought that back. I brought back a crone from Ireland in spirit form. Okay. I know her name.
She just hangs out with you?
I can call upon her. She's working with a lot of people.
You brought back a connection with her.
I brought back a connection with her, like I brought back a connection with the elders of Machu Picchu.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm kind of bringing back that energy. One of the native fellows that I walk with is of the indigenous tribes from Puerto Rico. And he's helping me learn songs so that I can, because songs are prayers. Okay, he's helping me learn the prayers and the songs. Nice guy, great guy. I'm learning how to listen. I'm learning how to pray. I'm learning how to walk better every day. Thank you, Reimer.
You're learning how to listen and how to pray. Why are those important?
If you don't listen, you can't learn. If you don't ask for help, they will not intercede and do it for you.
Yeah.
You must ask for help, and that is what prayer is about. And there are prayers for many things. You just have to figure out which thing that you interact with and how you connect to the love.
So it almost has an emotional feel to me like humility and courage, maybe. The humility to just shut up, just stop. When you get lost, stop. And then the humility to say it out loud, even though you already know it.
Yeah.
Just say it out loud. What are you afraid of? Courage.
Courage is important in this. You know, the word courage actually has its root in the French term for the heart.
I didn't know that.
C-O-E-U-R, I believe.
Okay.
In French.
Makes sense.
Studied French in high school. Learning to work from the heart. Operating from here. Even when this doesn't agree with it. When your mental field doesn't agree. When things get out of balance and you go more to your mental field, you tend to not be able to more easily get to the heart. If you think you know, okay. You do. If you're smart enough to know that you don't know.
You know a lot more than you did before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You see it from a different place because they give you the opportunity to explore different viewpoints. I walked from the traditional Christian church belief system I grew up into through Mormonism all the way to Native American. Okay. At age 12, I was part of what they called the RLDS church, which is a modified Mormon, so to speak. Okay. And I went to summer camp. And I watched what happened in summer camp and how they treated each other and what they said. I listened to the words. I listened to them quote the Bible, and then I watched. And I saw incongruities. They were not doing what they said they were doing, or they hadn't learned how to do it yet.
A bunch of humans out there.
There were a bunch of humans. They were having their human experience. And I decided that I wanted a real connection with the divine. And so I crossed the creek and I climbed a tree and I sat out on the limb of the tree and I asked God for a real connection. Not the hocus pocus. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out. You do certain things in certain ways. That's how you get to put it. I need the real connection with it. Some 50 years later, a native elder said, "Tell me about that tree limb." I said, "Oh, yeah, this is what happened. Bet you didn't think you were going to get here." So there are different perspectives and different opportunities to explore and understand. And there are different ways to block your understanding.
Yeah.
And to shut yourself in a box.
Yeah. Boy, and humans are good at finding all those ways.
Well, that is about our safety.
Yeah.
And it's about our fear. And we all have fears.
What are you afraid of?
The fear that I seem to have right now is that I won't be able to accomplish all the things I feel like I'm here to help accomplish before this body decides it no longer wants to be here. It wants to take a different form, and I need to take my spirit elsewhere. And then I have to come back and recycle.
And could you accomplish that even if you had 10,000 years? Like, isn't that the definition of life, is the psyche just going through the next transition, to the next transition, to the next transition?
Could be. I have a sense that this might be one of my last transitions.
Okay. You have a sense that you've been here a while and you're nearing the end of your mission.
And part of that comes from an astrological reading I had from Edgar Cayce.
Okay.
The Edgar Cayce Institute put together all of the astrological readings he did based on the natal chart, where the stars were when you were born.
Right.
And in his belief system, as I understand it, and I promise you I don't really truly understand it, between lifetimes we go to different planets and we explore and learn from those different things. We get the influence. It's like going to one college or another. You went to Harvard, you went to Yale, you went to USC, whatever. You'll have a different influence, a different culture, a different experience. Okay? So you go to these different places and then you come back here with that influence. Based on that, Edgar Cayce then told people in his readings where they had been and what they had done in their past lifetimes. And I had one of those readings. And yes, I was in Atlantis. Okay, I left Atlantis before it sank. I made my way to what we call North America, and I actually connected with the Iroquois. Now, I don't know what you know about American history, but America's founding fathers actually relied a lot upon the Iroquois to help figure out how to do the government that we currently have.
Okay.
Okay.
I know very little.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school.
Okay, there you go. Never mind.
I know of the things.
So all these things come together, and then I try to figure out, okay, what piece of that information is helpful in what I'm doing right now? And maybe I'm just going to categorize that and put it on a shelf and bring it out in a moment when I'm having a good conversation with someone like you, who truly is exploring. Because if you weren't, I wouldn't be sitting here. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't come to you.
I believe that.
I wouldn't come to you.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trust you to film me and then say, yeah, I'll let you look at it later and tell me which parts you want out. Because I couldn't trust you.
No. And what's the point of life without trust?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that's one of the awarenesses I'm starting to have is I don't want to go, I don't want to do business the way I've done business before. I want to do business based in trust because that's what's fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you get taken advantage of sometimes.
And that's
welcome to life. It's not fair. The fair's in August.
Well, the fair's in August, and the truth is everybody's got to learn by making mistakes.
Yes.
You know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what happens when somebody makes a mistake, as in takes advantage of me, and is met with somebody who doesn't take it personally, who's just like, I get it. I know what it means to be human, and his story is different. Okay, great.
He says, okay, I can do it again then.
Maybe.
I'll keep doing it.
Or maybe it's...
Until somebody comes along who does it to him. Or he has another lifetime and he gets to live the opposite side of it. You know, because...
But sometimes when you react to something differently, it like jars people's world a little bit.
It does.
Like, what?
It does, if they're conscious.
Yeah. Or trying to be.
If they're not trying to be conscious and they're just operating under the assumption that what I believe is true, I will muddle my way through this and I will make it work. And look, it worked. Okay, look, it worked again. Look, it worked again.
You're right.
You know, people do that. Right.
And that's why the importance of the intuition to say, is this a conversation that I want to go have? Does the energy feel right? Yeah.
Do I trust this person? Am I willing to share some of the most intimate experiences of my life with them? Or do I not?
Yeah.
Do I just come sit down and say, okay, what do you want to know?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I can tell you without telling you anything.
No. I'd rather not post any part of the episode and have the real conversation.
Well, you're having it.
Yeah.
It's who I am. I've had inspirations about the Bible when I read it. I had inspirations about other things.
Yeah.
I've had spiritual energies come to me, non-physical come and talk to me. I've had them present themselves. I've seen and heard many things. I bounce up against some of those moments where I have to be real and honest about how things work here. And some of my spiritual people say, well, no, that wasn't right. Do you know what you did to yourself? I learned. I grew. I'm human. Was it a mistake? Maybe.
Do you feel like that you have to walk through life hiding parts of yourself from people?
I naturally either trust or don't trust people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't share with people I don't trust. And I don't share with people who I think would take advantage of it. Now, I will tell you that in every setting I've ever gone into where I was part of an organization, they always wanted to move me to the head of the organization. And, I thought, well, that is really weird. Because for me, I'm not unique in any particular way, but apparently I am some ways, in ways that they can see that I cannot.
So but what I'm wondering is that just that desire, that act of being careful what you share.
And how I share it.
Does that feel like making yourself small? Does it feel like a box? Are you putting yourself in a box? Like, how do you justify that? Or not justify is not the right word. How do you process that? How does that feel to you? How is that not putting yourself in a box?
Well,
who cares if it offends them?
I'm sort of exploring.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I'm all about exploring. Yeah. I always look, okay, now what is that?
Yeah.
And
that was the hardest part of starting the podcast. It's just like, I'm going to get raked over the coals. I'm going to get judged so hard because my life, most of my family doesn't approve of it. It has done the opposite. I'm just completely honestly myself about everything. And like my family has opened up in how they interact with me as I started to just share who I am, because it is who I am.
All right.
I don't know. I'm actually just curious about how do you do that without being in a box?
As I work with particular clients and they come in and they have a particular orientation and understanding of life, I tend not to share with them about spirit guides. And, like if they come in and they say, I'm Christian and I go to this church, and I'll go, okay, I hear that. And so I will do what I do, and I'll form it in a way so they can understand it.
Right. Try to find a language that feels
And
more
I
organic
used to
then.
think I was a universal translator because I could take things from this belief system and translate it to that belief system. And okay, for them, it's an angel. It's not a guide.
It's kind of a superpower.
Right. If they're attracted to a particular animal, to the natives, that's an animal helper. To them, it's just an animal they love. Okay, that's fine. An animal that supports them on their journey. That's a beautiful thing. You've got one.
Yeah. I've got one.
At least one.
I've got a couple of very doting cats.
They're also there to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. They come. But then there are beings out here in the forest.
What are you talking about when you say I have one? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about your dog. I saw your dog.
Oh, Gus. Yeah.
Yeah, Gus is quite the little helper.
Yeah, he is.
He's full of love.
He is. That's true. He's
And he's absolutely loyal.
in dog fashion. He is a giver.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's how he was designed. He was put here with that in mind, and he helps you and you help him.
It's
And,
just a different perspective to make the world a little more joyful.
right.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I counter a lot of deer. And deer have been known to be related to unconditional love. I also, when I was on my walkabout and my vision quest, encountered black bear hair and elk and cougar. I stepped across a log one time and stepped into fresh steaming cougar scat.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Still steaming.
And what I said to my guys is, this is not funny. Get me out of here. And they said, well, look around. What's familiar? And I said, well, that's familiar. They said, go that way. And that led me out. So I walked that way. And as I was walking back to the main camp, which was about 20 miles away from where I was, I walked, and I walked all day, and I walked all night. I was still fasting. No water, no food. Like, okay, and I'm walking, and I'm getting weaker, or at least I feel like I'm getting weaker. And I'm walking along, and I hear this rustling in the forest off to my left. And so I turned, and I had a staff with me, and I took the staff, and I put it up, and I said, okay, cougar, if you're coming, go ahead. Let's do this. If we got to do this, let's do it.
Bring it.
Yeah. And nothing came. I later learned that that was a black bear. And the black bear had followed me along and it acted as my protector the whole time I was there. The next year, I had an opportunity to sit in a lodge, a little tiny lodge, probably no bigger than if you were to sit upright, your head would just barely not touch the ceiling. And I was up this creek bed. It was a dry part of the creek bed. We put this lodge down. I sat inside of it. As I was sitting there, my bones began to ache. My whole being began to ache. So, okay, can you help me with this? I'm rattling and praying and singing and thinking, and I asked for help, and this guy shows up. He's a spirit who looks like a World War I British soldier. He's got the helmet. That's how I knew. I thought, okay. He said, "Sire, how may I help you?" I said, "There are no sires here. We're equals." He said, "Yes, sire, but how may I help you?"
And I'm not your dad.
Yeah, and I thought, okay, well, if we're not going to debate that, can you help me? And my medical training said to sedate somebody is to help them to sleep. So I asked him to sedate me, and he cocked his head to the side and he said, "Sire, if I sedate you, there's a 95% chance that you will not make it off this hill." "Okay, can you just help me to sleep?" "That I can do," he said. And then I went to sleep, and I woke up and the pain was gone. When I got down off the hill, I asked the elder who was holding the sacred space, "Tell me about that experience." And the elder said, "Well, in our culture, sedate is the same as euthanize." He said, "Oh, okay, good. I'm glad he didn't do that." And then we went back up to get the stuff that was up on the hill and tear down the lodge and, make sure everything was just like it was before we came. And we went further up the creek, and there was a log across the creek, and there was a bear claw across. Okay, that bear has been watching out for me the whole time. I have a bear spirit that walks with me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And a wolf.
Yeah.
And a whale.
I don't know what spirits walk with me, but I know that ravens, anytime that I hear a raven, it just makes everything inside me light up in recognition. And it's weird because there's nothing, it's just a raven sound. There's always just a raven sound before. Even crows a little bit, but for crows, it just feels like, hey, brother, like that's the feeling that I have when I see a crow or hear a gaggle of crows go by.
Right.
But when I hear that raven, it makes me stop.
Pay attention.
And I'll turn towards the sound and just, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm not listening. I'm not trying to understand anything. I just feel awe. I feel maybe respect.
If you feel it, there is a connection.
Yeah, powerfully. Like I've always laughed at myself about this stuff because I am an agnostic after all.
Right.
But I also can't deny that it is true.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
And so maybe you work with raven medicine.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just talking to everyone to see what their window looks out at so I can start to piece together what.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I get to go to bear ceremonies now.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. And I get given things. Like I was given a rattle that has a bear paw on it, and I was given a drum that has a bear painted on it. And I took that drum and the rattle to the most recent bear ceremony I attended, and the fellow who was facilitating the bear ceremony picked up my drum and started playing it to start the ceremony. Like, okay, here we go. And the people who look at it in the native culture look at me and go, wow, somebody must really like you. Like they're giving you these things. Yeah. Somebody does.
There's something
like
inside you that's resonating with them. And that something is real.
The bears are the healing clan. And so what I do with people and what I do with working with cultures and healing the wounds of the genders and the nations and the tribes and et cetera, then the belief systems is part of what needs to be done for Mother Earth and for the whole of the creation.
Amen to that.
And what you do does the same thing in a different way.
Scratch my curiosity itch. That's what it feels like I do.
What you do is explore, and you show people how to explore.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
And you share with them, here's some ways you can look at this. Here's some other ideas.
Yeah.
This is what I tried when I was younger. Here's what I'm experiencing now. And I'm open to sharing with everybody different ways to look at things. And so you are. And congratulations.
Well, thank you. And
you're welcome.
Thanks for the exploration you do, for all the questions that you've been willing to ask, even when you're afraid of being judged by the world around you. Because, I mean, that's a real thing, even for you. Like, you're like, I've been around not only a lot in this life, but in all the lives before. This may be my last life. I don't know. And you're still like, and I have to be careful. Because you are also human.
And I'm watching.
And you're also learning and exploring.
And if you look at what they have always done to leaders and healers and teachers, the people who are way outside their box.
Yes.
You have to realize that that's how people respond to this until they become more conscious.
Yeah. Which is happening.
Yeah. It is happening.
But thanks for doing the work.
Oh, thank you.
Putting the foot in front of the foot.
Thank you for doing yours. Took a lot of courage when they said you're going to go out there for 4 days and 4 nights with no food and no water.
And then you said 4 years. What was that about? Did you do it four different times?
I did it 4 times in 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just like, did each day seem like a year? Did you experience a year? That's interesting.
No, but I had one moment where when I was sitting between the trees and I looked up and I saw this bird up there, and the one who had been a cougar in Ireland was a bird sitting on that tree. And I called him by name.
Wow.
And they said, oh, you caught me. Yeah, I was able to see you. You were there. You were looking on at me. Yeah, I was. I wanted to make sure you were okay. Okay, that was good. Thank you.
And I mean, for a lot of people, hearing these stories is just fantastical. It's just like difficult to even believe. And for you, it's just like, there doesn't seem anything weird about any of it. It's just normal. This is just the way life is.
Yeah, there's so much more than what we understand, and so we have to open ourselves to the possibilities. When I finished my 4 years of Vision Quest, I chose to go to a person who held the rights to give a sacred name, the native rights. We had an opportunity to explore that, and he said, okay, well, give me some tobacco and some cloth, and and then we'll go through this process, and we'll get into a lodge, a sweat lodge, and when we're in the sweat lodge, we're going to sing this one particular song, and when we sing it, we get to this particular round, and when that happens, the spirit will come into the lodge and give me your sacred name. I went, okay. So we're sitting there. He's on my left-hand side. There's nobody on my right. He's singing, and he's fanning me with an eagle feather fan. And I can feel that fan. When he got to that round of the song, I could feel a fan on the right. Nobody over there. Okay, this is odd. He finished, he looked at me, and he said, so, well, I won't tell you my sacred name, but it has to do with that eagle.
Almost. I almost got it.
Did you almost get it?
No, but I wondered if you were going to say it.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it.
We'll go with eagle.
I won't share that.
Okay, perfect.
I wouldn't want it in the broadcast.
Perfect. So much gold and curiosity in here.
Hopefully it's going to be helpful to someone.
It already has been. Wish granted.
Okay. What did you learn?
What did I learn?
Yeah. What opened for you? What door opened for you that was not open before?
In this conversation.
Yeah.
That is a very difficult question to answer because I just live on the emotional plane.
I know.
But I think it's confirmation. You use a lot of verbiage that's been coming up for me a lot. Confirmation that there is no there to get to. There is no final stage. It isn't stages. It isn't comparison. It is just different. And it's there whether you see it or not. Like these are the things that are really trying to go from my head down into my just my deep subconscious. Just that awareness of life. And I think that you're just a real person. You don't have this fancy message to deliver. You're just a person who walks through life trying to help people, and you want to be the best version of yourself, and you're very real about what you see. You don't have a chip on your shoulder. And so it's like you have what I call optimistic cosmology. You see a joyful universe when you look out. I hear the thread through everything you're saying. And you don't have it figured out.
The feeling with the raven that you have with the raven?
Yeah.
When you have that same feeling with the other awarenesses you have, that's when it's moved from here to here.
Yeah. Just that gut level response.
Yeah, that sounds right. That feels right.
Yeah.
That's how you know when it's in your heart.
And I'm working on learning to listen to that. Yep.
Growing in the awareness. It's more about awareness than anything else.
Yeah.
How much can we open our awareness to explore and experience things that do not seem real?
Yeah.
But yet are real.
And I've tricked myself too many times. It's like I've believed things because I needed to believe it. It's like choose your poison, but a lot of the name it and claim it faith stuff, or
right.
It's like you have to believe it, and there's something in there that wants to believe in something bigger than me. Right. Kind of back to the fatherlessness thing, just that that there's a father or a mother or just something more. I'm part of something bigger. I'm part of a family. Yeah,
one of the things that I experienced growing up, and to go to the more macabre side of life.
Yes.
My father was bipolar. So he was the pillar of the business community and a terror at home. And he constantly threatened suicide.
That's tough to grow up with.
And at age 19, he actually committed
Oh
suicide.
my goodness.
And I was the person who got to find his body and share that with everybody else. So I've been through some things that were less pleasant
Yes.
in life. And, at about age 12, he stuck a shotgun in my face and told me he was going to blow my head off when he was in one of those depressed modes. When I was younger, he put me in the passenger seat of the car and was driving at bridge abutments at 90 miles an
Oh
hour,
my God.
telling me he was going to kill us both because neither of us deserved to live.
Wow.
So I've had some experiences.
How do you feel about that, having that as a father figure now?
I think
How do you
that
feel
what
towards
he set me up to do was not to depend upon other human beings very much.
Yeah.
You can't trust people who say they're going to love you
No.
unless what you're feeling is the real love.
But you had some big generational curses to break.
Uh-huh. And then my mother died 3 years later of a heart attack. And I got to be in the ambulance with her when she passed. And we were on the way to the ambulance, and I was doing CPR because I was a medic in the military. When we got there, the hospital crew thought I was part of the ambulance crew, but they took over and they took her inside. I had a seat in the waiting room, and I was sitting there, and I said, she has really had a hard life. And if it's her time to go, because she's really tired. They came out about 5 minutes later and said, we had a heartbeat on her until 5 minutes ago. And then she left. Okay, now my mom was she had diabetes, but they didn't know what that was back then.
Mm-hmm.
So they kept saying she's having a nervous breakdown. They would put her in the hospital, balance things out, send her home, she'd be fine. Nervous breakdown, boom, in and out of the hospital. While Dad was doing the I'm going to kill myself, you'll all be better off without me. Neither of us deserve to live thing. Okay. We were having all that going on at the same time. Now, so clinically, I have what they call complex PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been diagnosed with ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I've got some of those mental health conditions.
Sure.
Okay. But the reality is those are just different ways to experience life and different wiring in the brain and different ways of then beginning to interact with the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out, because Dad would say he loved me, and sometimes he'd be very loving and very nurturing, and then he'd be off the charts the other direction. The reason he decided to stick a shotgun in my face was because he was hitting my mom, and I stepped between them.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that very much, so he figured he'd just take me out, and I'd be out of the way. He could do what he wanted.
Wow.
If that's what he figured.
Yeah.
I can't really just say I can get in his head. Doesn't mean I didn't love him.
Yeah.
Doesn't
doesn't mean he didn't love you.
Right. So he just had a different experience.
Yeah. Just broken.
So from all that,
Yep.
I had to walk through all these different experiences with people helping me along the way, and get to a place where I was willing to explore a different form of understanding of love.
And you've done it.
Uh-huh.
Like, what do you feel like is the most important thing to say? Like, what would you want to leave the world with? What is the thing that is most important for the people
Love.
here?
Real love. Not the pretend love we sometimes do because we want to manipulate someone into doing something for us in a particular way. But the real concept of love, I want to say it's fairly simple. We make it complex because we have categories of it and understandings of it.
Yeah.
We've even categorized it. It's agape, it's eros, it's whatever. No, it's love. Eros is the desire to merge. The desire to merge is what ends up teaching us about love in general and helps us to get past the individualistic sense of it or the sense of not having it and gets us to a place where we can explore, so I'm also part of this larger love and I choose to bond with it. I choose to connect with love in its real form. and let go of my boundaries and let go of my shame and blame and all the stuff that gets in the way of actually experiencing love, so that I can experience it and I can share it with others and help them understand that in spite of the fact that we have all had really interesting experiences, and some of them have been extremely unpleasant, that we can get to the place of love, and that's what all this is about, getting to the place of love.
And that love you're talking about, because we have so many words, everyone's mind just jumps to whatever their archetype for the word love is. But you can define it all you want, and you're still only ever going to be touching the smallest aspect of it.
You might be touching the trunk, you might be touching the tail.
But when you see love, when you meet love as it is fully, you understand it without words. It makes sense.
Then it's a feeling. It flows.
And it's emerging.
Constantly. It flows through everything and everyone. All the trees, all the animals, the stones, the plants, the flowers. Flows through everything.
It's not just a feeling. It is the undergirding.
It is the primordial soup, to use the scientific language, I guess. It is the basis of all life. It is the life force energy.
And it's so hard to find sometimes, because we're trying to complicate it, because it's so simple. Well, what still needs to be said that hasn't been said?
I'm checking in. Is there anything else to be said, guys?
I love that. We touched a lot of different things. This has been so deeply satisfying for me. Scratching that itch, learning new language, learning new ways to look at things. Many, many indefinable learnings that are going to filter in, and I'm going to see them as the weeks go by. As I have more conversations, I'm going to say something. I'm going to understand something in a particular way, and I'm going to be like, Christopher's language.
You'll see it, you'll hear it, you'll experience it. One of the things that I experienced with the Vision Quest was that you go and you have this 4-day experience. Right? Okay, you have that. But then you get to work through what you need to work through in the in-between time. And so in between each year, there was the opportunity to walk through life and to see things from a different perspective and begin to explore and understand things differently and open up and learn and grow. And because of my childhood experiences, okay, we'll back up a minute. I need to tell you the story about the first Vision Quest.
Lovely.
As I was getting ready for it, the elder said, well, what kind of Vision Quest are you going to do? I said, different kind of Vision Quest. You know, because I'd always seen the movie version where you set the 4 poles in the 4 directions.
Can I see the menu again?
Yeah. I need to figure out, because I didn't know, first of all, that we were in a restaurant where there was a menu. Okay. I thought it was just you do whatever it was that they did. And I got told, no, there's different ways to do it. And what I got shown was that because of my ADHD, the sitting still wasn't going to be a good way for me to explore this. So I needed to move. So I was going to do a walkabout. I said, well, okay, I'm going to do a walkabout. And they said, okay, great. There's 4 different kinds. Which kind would you like to do? And they explained the 4 different kinds. I took it back to prayer and I came back with, okay, this is the form I'd like to do. You're going to take me out. You're going to leave me someplace. Come back and get me at that location where you left me 4 days from the time you leave me. Okay. So I'm out there. First day I go to the east because in their tradition, the east is the place of enlightenment. It's the sunrise. It's the way that you get more information. It tends to be related to the ego. Okay. So I went there first, went to the east. Then I went to the south because the south is a place of healing. And that night I had a dream. And in the dream, I got taken to a cave and I got asked, I was given a gift. I will not tell you what the gift was. Okay, because that's more sacred than I want to share. Okay. But I asked for something and they showed it to me. Okay. And I had a list of 13 things I wanted to work on when I was out there. I need help with this, 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 and this. And the elder who put me up on the hill decided that it was okay for me to take that pad of paper with me and make notes and, have the experience. And so I took out that list and I sat down in this little meadow. There were trees all around. There was a log there. I sat on the log. I began to talk about those things and ask about them. And I was surrounded by 13 turquoise dragonflies. I later learned that the dragonfly are considered the medicine people. So they came and they helped me with these things. Having had the dream and having been surrounded by the 13 turquoise dragonflies, I thought, well, okay, I probably got what I intended to get from this experience. And I said, okay, well, I asked my spirit guide to go down and tell the elder that I was ready to go. Nothing happened. And my inner child got triggered. And my inner child said, okay, these people are telling you that they love you and they care about you, but then so did your dad. And you know how that ended. So maybe you just can't trust anybody. And that began a process. And as I was thinking about that, I heard, why don't you take your notebook and sit down and write down what you've learned so far? And so I did. I made notes about what I had learned. And while I was doing that, a hummingbird came up and hovered above a flower right in front of me, looked at me, flew off, came back, and did this 3 times. Now, what I know about hummingbirds is they represent joy. But they also represent the conservation of energy, because they can eat what they eat and fly 2,500 miles in their migration. So they know how to conserve energy and use it effectively, and they know how to move about all directions, up, down, and all around. Okay. So maybe there's more, I said. And they went, you got it. Okay. So I closed my book and I went to the west for the first time. I had gone to the north because that's where the elders are and that's the wisdom of the elders. So I went there. As I went to the west, I was away from the meadow that I had been around, and suddenly I was up against the hillside. It was then that I stepped over the log into the fresh cougar scat. Now, to the west is the place where you've sort of hidden things from yourself. You're unconscious.
East, you find wisdom. South, you find healing. West, you find the hidden things. North, you found the elders. Okay.
The wisdom of the elders. Okay. So I'm off to the west, and I'd hidden this all from myself. I had compartmentalized my childhood and all the trauma that I carried at the cellular level.
Yes.
For all that time. Okay. And so this trigger set it off. And so when I said to them, okay, guys, this is not funny, get me out of here, they said, look, which direction? What do you see that's familiar over there? Go that way. I went that way, which began a walk and a temper tantrum back to the camp. Okay. 20 miles away. I'm headed. I know the road. We drove up it to get here. So I just have to make it to the road, then walk the road. I walked beside the road and I found the bear scat and I found the bear hair. Okay. I kept walking and I kept walking, and daytime turned into night. And that's when I heard the bear on the left.
Yeah. That had been following you the whole time.
And as I was walking, I would look up, and it was the second moon of August in that year. Okay. And so I would walk, and it was an absolute full moon.
So that's a blue moon, right?
It's a blue moon.
Okay.
It was the blue moon in that year. And I would look up and I would see the moon, and I would sit down and I would rest. And then when I got enough energy, I'd get up and I'd walk to the next place where I was tired. And when I found where I could see the moon, I would sit down and rest. And then I heard an owl. And then I heard other things like, okay, other animals being with me to try to help me out. The moon helps with emotions.
Yes.
Okay. And emotions are water. And we know that the moon can impact water because it impacts the tides. Right? So all this comes together at some point, and I realized the moon was working on me. the whole way on that trip, I was going through various stages of yelling, screaming, crying, begging about how to get help.
Yes.
And I was working out all the cellular stuff I had stored about my childhood, about the experience of watching my father commit suicide and finding his body, and being with my mother when she died, and feeling alone and rejected and unloved.
And being told you're not worthy in that context.
And being told I was, as my father used to say, because he was from West Virginia, useless as tits on a boar hog.
I've heard that one a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, I'm not.
No, as it turns out.
But as it turns out, but he told me that and I believed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believed it for a number of years. And I had to work through that internal shame.
But you wouldn't be the same person if you hadn't had to work through that shame.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge of what I might have been.
Yeah, that's true.
but it did lead to this point.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I've gotten past the shame piece. I like the work of Brene Brown around shame. Okay, she does a great job with it. I'm aware that, in those moments when I was throwing my temper tantrum and all that, back at the camp, they could hear me. They could feel it.
Yeah, yeah.
And they went to the elder that was in charge and said, we need to go get him now. He's in suffering. He's pain. He's got a problem. Let's go help him now. And the elder took it to the spirit world, and the spirit world said, we're not done with him yet. So I walked all night until the moon went down over the other horizon. And then I got out my sleeping bag and I curled up in my sleeping bag and I went to sleep. I got up the next morning, packed up everything, was ready to start walking, and they drove up to get me. Okay. Now, that elder that held that space got grief from everybody else because they thought that they had mistreated me.
Yep.
But the elder said the spirit world wasn't ready. They weren't done with you yet. Fine. Thank you. Well, in the third year, I was by a waterfall. And I did a traditional thing where I laid the stakes out in the 4 directions and I sat. But I sat on a rock. And that was the year my back had gone out. So I was in pain. I was called by the waterfalls because they don't use your name in camp, so they don't call your energy back to camp. First year I was walkabout. Second year I was up the creek. And I was up the creek without a paddle. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And this time I was by the waterfalls.
Okay.
I'm sitting there by the waterfalls, and my body begins to ache again. And on about the third day, I said, okay, I know I'm supposed to be here until you're done working with me. Are you done with me yet? And I sensed my 2 guides being there. The younger one looked at me and said, okay, so what do you see to the west? And I told him what I saw to the west. He said, what do you see to the east? I told him what I saw in the east. He said, okay. Do you feel at one with everything and everyone? Yes. What do you want, a certificate?
Humor.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks.
Yeah.
I guess that means you're done.
Goodness.
So, I walked down the hill and we came back up and got my stuff later. And
What do you want, a certificate?
Yeah. Like in your culture, that would be the way to understand it. So when I went to the next native ceremony, they said, well, I understand you went up on the hill. Yeah, I did. How long were you there? I said, long enough.
Just to the point that there is no finish line. There is no achievement level.
Right.
What do you want, a certificate?
There's no real end game or particular way to do things. The natives felt that if you were there for 4 days and 4 nights, you had accomplished your vision quest, and that was all good. But if you said less than that, oh, well, you just didn't have what it took to do that. And it wasn't about that. It was about waiting for the spirit world's confirmation that they were done. And my spirit guide does have a sense of humor.
Yes, I can see that.
It's like, okay.
And also, it's not about getting it exactly right. It's just about moving forward, like to the elders or to whoever that thinks it's 4 days. Whatever you think It isn't about the level. It isn't about having the words exactly right.
Yeah. It isn't
What's
about
your
a particular
intention?
prayer or a particular ceremony. It isn't about baptism or, taking the sacrament or any of that stuff.
But it's also not about knowing that it's not about that. It's just about what is your intention.
Right.
Is your intention honest? Is it pure?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you open to really learning, and will you grow with the experience, and will you learn from it? Or do you need to do it this way because that is the safe way to do it, and you don't need to explore anything else because after all, you're feeling good about what you got done?
Yeah. But are you seeking humility and courage, or are you trying to scratch your ego? Because you can't fake that.
Yeah. And I don't know if we're scratching our ego so much as we're finding ways to find safety, what we think of as safety, what we think of as love, and we try to move into that.
And the ego is responsible for finding safety.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That's why I say scratch your ego, because it feels like I'm
that's
searching honestly, but really I'm just trying to be safe. I don't know the difference. So it's the intention.
Right. And how you open up, or if you open up to exploring different ways of doing things that give you the opportunity to experience love in a different form than how you have experienced it. And
what an exciting idea.
Yeah, it's possible to go and explore and find more. We don't have to stay in our cubicles. We don't have to stay in our, what one elder calls the hokey pokey.
No matter how far you've advanced in the hokey pokey, it's possible to step out and find more.
Yeah, there's more. This is so much bigger a creation than what we know. Yeah. And it's so gentle and kind. And we, as humans, because of how we think of things and how we do things, we tend to create the experiences that show us the opposite of it, so we can see that's not the direction to go. But no matter how far you've gone down the path, you can always turn around.
Or take a left turn, or
stop
turning and start walking straight for once, maybe. I don't know.
Go to the left, go to the right, do something different.
Do something different.
If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. Oh. So you got, if you want something different, you got to do something different.
Yep.
You got to be willing to explore.
Yep.
And I promise you, when my friend said, would you come and support me on the Vision Quest? I did not know where it would lead. But I wanted to be of support to him.
Yeah. And I want something different in my life. And so I'm sitting here talking to you. And that's different than anything I've done before.
There you go. There you go. So you're on your way. Just keep moving.
Okay. So with your practice and stuff, are you looking for do you want to plug, do you tell people how to get a hold of you, plug what you do? Like, what do you want to say about that?
If someone is open to exploring working with the whole being, because we're talking about physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, and looking for ways to find your whole being wellness, then I can be of help.
And then how would you like people to connect with you? Like maybe, do you have social media? I do have a
Facebook page.
Okay.
What's
the easiest way to connect with you?
I don't know if there is an easy way to connect with me, but I do have a phone number I'm willing to share.
Okay.
It's 503-910-6110.
And it's okay if someone texts you, or?
It's okay if they text me, or if they call me. My business is called Wise Hands Massage, and I was named by my wife. Partly because when I first met her, I would walk up to her and I would put my hand on her, and she would say, "How do you know that was where I was hurting?"
Beautiful.
Like, okay. So she says, "Wise hands." I've always been a wise guy. That's a whole different thing. When I was younger, my dad would say I was a wise ass.
You've been a lot of things.
I've been many names. I've been called many names. When I was 12, I was at summer camp with a couple of boys that were Oglala Lakota. And I asked them what did they think my spirit name would be. And they said, "Oh, you'd be deer runner because you run like a deer." Okay. And, I was also, when I graduated from high school, I was 5'7" and 127 pounds. Okay. Skinny as a rail. One guy called me a zipper if I turned sideways and stuck out my tongue. My legs were pretty thin and I was pretty strong. And so one guy called me super chicken.
Wait, that's something from like an ad or something. No, that's a show.
Cartoon.
That was a cartoon.
That was a cartoon.
Because my dad used to say that.
Uh-huh.
Super chicken.
Right. There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
So I've been called Super Chicken Zipper. I had red hair, so I was Carrot Top, and I had glasses, so I was Four Eyes. All of that. I have many names. At a recent bear ceremony, one of the guys said that to people. I've been called many names. He said, okay, I guess that's your new name, many names. I'm like, okay. Okay.
So you go to these ceremonies sometimes?
Oh, yeah. As often as I can.
Do you ever take tag-alongs?
Rarely.
Okay.
I would have to know that someone was going in, they call it a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not just about curiosity. It's not just about someone who... Yeah, I'll tell you a story then. Okay, sorry. This is the story thing going on.
Perfect. I love it.
My very first native ceremony I attended was a bear ceremony, and they were dancing. I think it was a bear ceremony. It might have been a sun dancing. Not sure. When it was over, one of the guys who had sat at the drum and sang looked at me and he said, "Why are you here?" Just like that. I said, well, I tend to put one foot in front of the other and go where I feel guided by spirit. He said, good answer. If someone felt guided by spirit, I would encourage them to go with me. If they went with me, I would be responsible for what they did when they were there.
Right.
I would have to teach them protocol so that they didn't... And the second thing I went to was a sweat lodge. And one of the guys here had a brand new necklace that had a bear claw on it. And he was very proud of it. He was like, look what I got. One of the other guys said, I like it. Now, I knew enough to know that if you say to a Native American, I like it in the oldest way, if it was not gifted to them, they have to give it to you. So I asked, was a silly thing to ask, do you like it in the oldest way? And this Native American guy got between us, and he puffed up like a cobra. Is there a problem here? Nope, no problem here. And when we got in the sweat lodge, he was throwing energy darts at me because I was a white guy who didn't know what the heck I was doing.
With a smart mouth.
Uh-huh. And he threw those energy darts so well that I caught him. And I said, I'm out of here. And I went to be by myself. Like, okay, nope, I'm not doing that. If you're going to throw energy at me, we're not doing it. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. I don't need it. I saw him again recently at a ceremony. He sort of vaguely remembered me, but I don't think he remembered back to that first event.
Yeah.
An elder had pulled him aside and told him who I was and what I did.
And he learned a little bit of something about judging a book by its cover.
Right.
Because we're all learning.
We are. Every day in every way. To the extent that we'll allow it, we learn.
Yeah. Boy, to the extent that we'll allow it, that's the kicker.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Even if you think you want to allow it, you're the one in charge, buddy.
Right? So, choose.
I learn that anew every day.
You can learn not to learn.
Yeah, choose.
Yeah. You have to make a choice.
Yeah. There's a book I just read called Life Happens and Then You Choose. It's a fantastic book that's just like, just choose your life you want. Just start making a choice. Thanks, Christopher.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I really appreciate the language. I appreciate being able to look out of the window that you've made on the universe. See the stuff you see.
It's a unique one.
Yeah, it is.
And it's exciting and fascinating at times and a little bit scary at other times.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have life, and, I have learned to love myself, which is a big thing from my perspective. It's one of the harder lessons.
Yes.
And I've learned to be able to look at others while they're going through their lessons and making what I assume are mistakes.
Yes.
And have compassion and understanding for the process that is happening for them which is their learning and their opportunity to see what it is that it's not so they can find it.
Because you give that space to yourself.
Mm-hmm. They've gone down a path that doesn't lead them where they think it leads them. And what they're trying to find may not be what they think they're trying to find. So they go through a process of going through lessons, and we all go through lessons. And we all get the opportunity to learn and grow and make mistakes. For some reason, the spirit world showed me that the difference between evil and live, one is reversed. So when one is going towards the things that do not bring life, they're going to the evil. And when one is going to things that do bring life and encourage life and help everything to grow, it's about being alive.
I'm glad I'm alive.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad we're all alive.
Becoming love.
Remembering love, becoming aware of it. We've always been it. We're more or less aware.
Becoming more.
I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Bringing these conversations to you is a lot of fun and a lot of work. So thank you to the sponsors that help bring you this conversation: the Fundamental Sense Massage Studio, Conundrum House Experiences, and Journey Empowered. Thanks for doing this with us. And as always, thank you, Buddy Anderson, for the original music that ties these conversations together so beautifully. We appreciate you. Thanks to all of you who are in this room listening with us. Let us know what you think. And as always, stay curious.